Hello everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. We have XLM Stellar on our video today. Guys, Stellar Lumen, absolutely phenomenal project. Absolutely love what they're doing from the sustainability perspective and what they're trying to achieve in terms of diversity and equality around the world. Of course, the founder, Jed, is previously a Ripple employee, as we know from many years ago, and came across to Stellar to create this unique opportunity. Now, for me, one of the other exciting things I like about this project is its integration with USDC and to try utilizing its really fast and efficient blockchain aspect to enhance faster transactions and also cheaper transactions. But more importantly, transactions within regions that perhaps struggle with infrastructure of digital aspects, but also finance in general, and really just trying to improve really how the world can operate and increase and improve the economies across some of these countries as well. And on that topic, actually, I'm just going to bring this to the equation. Bitwage. So this is powered by the Stellar Foundation. This is very much around the Latin American region and improving upon how people get paid and how fast they get paid. I was reading through his article and I found it absolutely staggering how long it takes sometimes for money to be transferred across to people, in some cases up to 6 months. Now, if anyone's from this region, I'm really interested to know a bit more about this, because for me, it's like maybe things are done in advance and you're just like paid as an IOU or something. I'm not quite sure. But the beauty of this kind of system and being powered by Stellar and the utilization of USDC is exactly the points we mentioned at the beginning of this video. So we've got Latin America and even the Philippines actually mentioned here as well. So the LATM aspect of the world in terms of region. This is actually really interesting, and this is something that I've mentioned in previous videos as well, about improving the economies of various different countries and regions around the world, but also speeding up economies in general, and the utilization of cross-border payments, making this a lot easier, cheaper, and more efficient for anyone and everyone to transfer money across the world as and when needed, and not to worry about things like money laundering or any kind of fraudulent activity or anything like this, because blockchain is built there for the verification and identification processing to make sure we don't have these issues moving forward. So I'm really excited to see this further development, particularly with the ecosystem that is building on Stellar Lumens, and this one being one of them, Bitwage. And I can imagine and see a lot of this kind of application going on around the world, irrespective of whether their payment system is good enough as it is, but it can still be improved upon, of course. Here in the UK, we have the PAYE, Pay As You Earn. This is the initiative through the HMRC to ensure that your taxes is identified and paid properly and all these things through the company. And your payment usually comes in pretty much at the end of the month or whenever your payday is, right? But a lot of people don't know that in the existing current systems, whether that's through the CHAPS or the SWIFT system, some of these payments can take up to a couple of weeks. So albeit that they show in your account straight away, almost as an IOU principle, the actual transaction in the background, the messaging aspect, which is why the RTGS system is coming in to enhance that a lot further, to be done within seconds rather than days, months, or weeks in this instance, and particularly in this instance, months. This is where the transition occurs. And this means that things can happen faster, it's more sustainable, it's more efficient. And that point about sustainability is really important, because it's something that Stellar go on about quite a bit. And particularly from Danelle, she's a really cool CEO of Stellar, really integrated within the Stellar Foundation and believes in the principles of it. And sustainability is quite an interesting topic, actually, because we did a video ages and ages ago about the energy efficiency of blockchain and how this is going to not necessarily affect banks. Well, it does affect banks significantly in the sense that more and more of them are disappearing and more people are coming across to the digital tokenization of assets and finance, right? But the information that we put out there was comparing the cost of utilizing existing banking systems. And what I mean by this is everything from the grassroots. The bank itself that's local to you in terms of how many people it's employing, how much energy is that building using, and including the server power as well, which was actually quite staggering when we looked at the statistics and the information around this. Because people were complaining, of course, like Bitcoin's energy consumption, this, that, and the other. And it actually turned out that regardless of Bitcoin's energy consumption and crypto in general, which is pretty decent, to be honest, across the other chains outside of Bitcoin, it was quite staggering that the banking system, the existing banking system, was spending so much money or utilizing so much energy for the usage for us. Even if I sent you money, it's costing energy, whether it be me picking up a phone that uses energy to obviously power the battery, and then the actual processing power of that transaction, and all of these things accumulated, things you never really think about. So this is why I kind of like the aspect of Stellar and what they're trying to achieve. And it's not just these guys, many other chains out there, of course, out there that are trying to adopt this aspiration of the staking, the proof of staking, but also the remittance of efficiency and cost reduction in transactions, and the ability for cross-border payments to be less frictional and more applicable to everyone. So these all kind of like identifiable reasons why I'm interested in these kind of projects. Why are they different? Why are they unique compared to others? Or what's their selling point? What's their brand message? And this is a spectrum that I get massively out of these guys. And they care as well, which is really cool. Danelle here, for example, in the last recent communication on Twitter, went on an absolute rant the other day on the 18th of November here, hating negative attention towards crypto and blockchain. And this is totally true, really, because outside in the mainstream media, they picked up on this FTX aspect that was been going on. And obviously everyone's jumping in saying crypto is bad, digital currency is bad. Well, actually, no, it's the management and the way things were run at that place, okay, in terms of regulation and things like that, the legalities of it, etc. This had nothing to do, really, with cryptocurrency and blockchain directly. Blockchain in general is going to change the world, guys, and I do believe there's obviously going to be centralized systems and decentralized systems. There's also going to be good sides of it and bad sides of it. But with the likes of Stellar here, I'm really sort of enthused by these guys' rapport when they're talking at conferences or networking, or indeed in social media and community in general. They're always talking about sustainability and diversification around the world, and that's something I truly believe in. And that's why I hold Stellar, not just to try and make money off the token, not just because the technology is amazing, but also their principles. And I think this is really cool. There are some tokens out there you could say arguably morally aren't perhaps correct because of the things that they will be involved with as the years go by. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure Stellar will be involved in some of these aspects of the technology and drive through government, through organizations around the world that perhaps we don't agree or disagree with at all in that aspect. So, we're not saying that they're perfect, but they have this drive to be really intuitive and change the world for good. And this conversation is brilliant. Go and check it out. But yeah, very much around the aspect of controlling, the regulation, all this kind of thing. And this is what you want. This is what you want from CEOs. This is what you want from really influential people in your business to portray the fact that actually we are doing the right things, and actually we're doing things differently to try and stop this kind of thing or improve this kind of thing in the future. And generally the community does really get interested in this kind of response and thought process, and it's just another equation to what they're trying to achieve. So I just thought I'd bring these kind of topics together because they do interlace nicely. We've got the aspect of like trying to improve things, try and make people's lives better, and Stellar as a kind of like non-profitable organization as such is trying to achieve this through the usage of blockchain and the usage of stablecoins that are available to us right now, but utilizing their system, their platform. So that's just a few points that I wanted to make before we went into the chart, but do go check out this conversation. It's really interesting, and I totally agree and stand by it as well. Let's have a look at the chart of Stellar because it hasn't massively moved since the last video that we did about 10 or 11 days ago, I believe. But it's still important to understand where we are in the market and what we're trying to look out for positions to accumulate. Right now, I'm always open and transparent. I'm accumulating XLM as and when I can, especially when I see stabilized areas as I've seen recently. Now, whether it's between 9 and 8 cents doesn't really matter to me personally. It might do to you depending on the volumes and the accumulation levels that you are anticipating. But I want to mention a couple of things. We mentioned in a previous video this fib retracement level mark. Okay, this takes us down to sort of just above the 5 cent mark. I do have buy orders down there in those regions, and I also actually, believe it or not, have them just slightly under 5 cents as well. The reasoning behind this is, one, we're still in a bear market. I still think we've still got a winter market to come. I think the charts will still go lower, and that is usually predominantly around Bitcoin's movement, and then it transpires across the board as well. Some assets do stabilize well than others because of just where they are in their life cycle or history, and longevity as a project. Others just potentially fade away or just struggle to keep momentum. So this shows confidence with XLM at the moment, really, over the last few months, albeit that we've had the downward trend, of course. It has been a slow burner process on the way down, but it's still showing really good resistance at really unique levels. Right now, we're matching levels that we haven't seen since 2020. So this is a good point to make because this is the area where I got in. So I'm sitting here going, well, I kind of missed the LXM boat as it was rising up. I was buying XLM at various different prices, I'll be honest with you, even at the 20, 30 cents levels. And you know what? It floated all the way up to this marker here around 80 cents, which is absolutely phenomenal. So we've got loads of room for growth. We'll see those points on the right hand side here in more detail in a second. But my point being is that if you look closely at these previous registered timeframes and price points, we're at these very interesting areas of adoption and accumulation. Now, the lowest points that we see here are back down at 3 to 5 cents. I do have buy orders down at this area. This is not an indication to suggest that XLM is flopping or anything like this. We just have to be very much aware of the life cycle, a whole entire cycle's worth of a bull market and a bear market as well. And for the bear aspects, you do have to consider very legitimately the points of data that stick out to us. And what I mean by this is looking at DCA opportunities, but also looking back at history. If you look here between 2020 and the end of 2020, then we had the massive uptake of XLM. But I would argue that since November 2020 and probably around where we are right now, there is a huge gap up here where we just simply don't have a big enough testing ground or data algorithm here to suggest that we have really ticked off that 5 to 8 cent mark properly. So this is why we're entering these kind of areas. Obviously, because of the market trend downwards, the world economy is crazy right now, but it also depends on where we are with chart momentum and history as well. This is why I always try and identify these points. So when we look at these fib retracement levels, it is an indicator to show us where some areas of interest are for taking positions of accumulation. Also, as I said, with data historically, and if you look all the way back, this line matches up very nicely with the volatility, if you want to call it that. I wouldn't call it volatility, but if you look at it on a grander scale, it does look bouncy, right? It's very wavy. But the magnet, if you were to draw a line across this, is right through the middle of that marker. As I said, around the price points roughly of where we are today. So as I said at the beginning of the chart analysis here, is I'm accumulating XLM as and when I can, especially in these stabilized areas, but I do have lower positions as well. I'm not going to talk about right now where we're going in the next few months. We have to take this step by step right now. There's absolutely no point predicting the short term because there are so many variables right now that are in massive existence across the world. However, I do anticipate still that XLM could easily try and achieve that $3 to $5 mark by 2025, especially with the establishment of things like the USDC movement, stable coins in general, digital assets and tokenization in general, and the mass adoption that will be coming from 2025 onwards. So there's lots to play here. And to bring up that point exactly, on the right hand side here, you can already see we're about 75% in the negative. Now, this is meaning that we've got a massive opportunity on the uprise over the next couple of years anyway, plus the positive attribute as well. So imagine that getting to break even and then seeing what percentage we could get in 2 years' time when we look back at the data. It's going to be very interesting to see this model move towards those goals. At the moment, the RSI is on 40 and 41. Again, emphasizing my point of why I accumulated these areas. This is a nice bite point for me. Obviously, a few days ago, brilliantly down to 33 at the 14-day. These are good markers of accumulation in these kind of markets. This is where money is made for the long term, right, guys? And the MACD is very much stabilized and matching itself. Orange and blue line, just about see it. I'll see if I can pull this up a bit more into more detail. And you can see that it's just about edging. So this could potentially swing into a slight upside, but I'm just anticipating that this is going to be, again, a bit of more of a slow burner in the coming weeks and months, just because this volume isn't huge on the way in or out, but it's showing the confidence and the stability in investors on this particular token asset. So that's quite an exciting thing to think about right there. But again, these regions are really good for accumulation. That's not financial advice, it's just a bit of an opinion there and what I am doing personally, and seeing where we can get those lower areas. So as I said, I do have those areas just above 5 cents as well as accumulating small patches around these current areas that we're in. If there's anything under 10 cents for XLM, I truly believe this is a massive steal for something that's truly remarkable and different compared to many other chains and projects out there, but also what they're doing in the world and what they're going to achieve with some great emphasis on how they can improve the world moving forward. So really exciting stuff. I think this is one for sure. If you haven't got in your portfolio, it's definitely one to consider. But for sure, it's been around for some time. It's not going anywhere. It's going to get stronger and stronger. And this is a great time for their development and partnership building. They've got great funding and great utilization here as well. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic to accumulate right now, build that portfolio up, and see the massive results of this over the years to come. This is a long-term hold for me. I'm not interested in buying and selling in that trading aspect. I'm just trying to accumulate as much as I can and see where we are in 2025 and onwards as well. So guys, that's wrapping that up there. Again, thank you for watching these videos. We smashed past the 7,500 subscribers the other day. If you haven't done so already, please do smash that subscribe button. Be absolutely brilliant if we could get to 10,000 by the end of the year. Hopefully you're enjoying the content in the videos. If there's any tokens we don't cover that you want us to cover, let us know. We've got a few new ones coming out this week. Looking forward to researching those and bringing those to your attention if you haven't got them already, that is. But guys, thank you for watching this one. We'll see you in the next XLM. Don't know what happened there. That was like the completely wrong letters the wrong way around, but tiredness kicks in, right? Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.